Well, good morning, good evening, what it do? How are you? Hooty hoot, grand rising too. I am the sound of money in your ear, Avant, that's still double O. I'm off an imitator, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion babe, aka the pitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, I'm launching my new podcast, you guys. Welcome to the Great Escape. Okay, welcome. So if you're listening on the WhatsApp, you're just getting a little sneak peek of what I do all day, every day now. It's getting different now. But before we begin, let me be clear for my people on, live stream or whatever on social. This is for entertainment purposes only or whatever. I mean, I'm giving you nothing but facts, historical facts. I'm a Harvard trained historian and economist. I'm just letting you know what's going on. But you can do what you want to do with this information. Do what you want to do. Okay. I want to give you some real patterns of what's actually going on because this is what I do. I teach entrepreneurship, right? I help people who keep saying they want to build generational wealth and they want to do all this stuff, right? And I'm here to help you use your business as a vehicle to get there. I'm so upset. I actually have issues right now. Actually, I feel a way inside. I feel a way because I got people in my group, people who I've been coaching for several years who still want to skip steps on the roadmap. Don't take this personally, because if I'm saying this, that means there's more than 24 people who are doing what I'm about to talk about. You don't know how to get consistent customers. You have not broken, $5,000, $10,000 a month in your business. Let's say five. Let's call it five. You have maybe quit your job. Maybe you're running through your savings right now. You don't know what to do to get a customer. You're still waiting on a contract, waiting on somebody to do something, waiting for Shaq's nephew to, return your call and all this kind of stuff. You're doing that. But you got a proposal, or you got somebody, your niece or your nephew or your cousin Bob, talking about pay me $4,000, pay me $6,000, pay me $785 to go do your Canva for you. Because you don't know what to put on your landing page to make it impactful. When I am sitting here, I teach this. I let's say it this way. I volunteer as an advisor for undergrad, grad, and alumni, grad students and alumni for Harvard Business School's Innovation Labs. Okay, that's my alma mater. I've taught this in multiple places. What qualifies me to do this? Well, I started my own company. Okay, I'm the founder. I'm not just, the face. I'm the founder. Invented the technology, did the thing. We raised almost $2 million in venture capital. Okay. Then it was like, well, how do we do this? And how can we replicate this? And how do we expand? I've been through it all. There is a 9-step process that everybody who has an idea, something they want to do, something they want to be great at, you're going to go through these steps. It's a recipe. If you skip steps, if you do it out of order, you're not going to get a pound cake. If you take an egg, crack it, put it in the bowl, turn on the oven, you say, ooh, 350, put it in there. They say 45 minutes, put it in there, take it out. Now, you put some flour on top of that and some sugar, and then you stir it up, and then you serve it to your family. Ta-da! You know what you're going to get? Blah. Like, that is not a pound cake. And when you skip steps on the entrepreneur's roadmap, and you are more concerned with your physical, like how you look, okay, the graphic design, okay, of what your logo is looking like, and what your web page is not, it's not looking professional enough, and all of those things. I'm not saying you need to be sloppy. I'm not saying you need to be messy. But in 2026, when you have a president, an administration, listen, let me not get in trouble because I'm streaming live. When you have people in charge, it is not 1985, okay? It is no longer a time when you could just assume, oh, things will be fine. It's fine. Like, they're doing something crazy over there, but that doesn't affect me, and kind of go on about your business and just kind of casually just kind of play around with this entrepreneurship thing. I am here to teach you skills that are going to serve you when you have to pack up your family and possibly leave the United States of America because It's not the same anymore. It may no longer be safe for you anymore. Some of you have already been on that. You for months, for years, you've been feeling like I need to make a move. I need to buy some land. I need to get out the way. I need to move my family. And what I'm here to tell you is if you don't know how to build consistent customers where you hit a button, you show up digitally, you send out a communication and you get tens or hundreds or thousands of people responding to that, if you can't get consistent revenue where you're hitting and exceeding your income goals, 9 times out of 10, it's not always true. This is why I make myself available as a coach. When, bettercalldog.com and all of that. Because possibly in your situation, this is not true. But 9 times out of 10, you're spending $700, $7,000 for, $400 a month, $2,000 a month. You're paying a mortgage payment to somebody who said, I can come in here and fix your logo. I can come in here and make your webpage look really cool. I can come in here and do some branding or graphic design thing. That sounds good. But listen, it's step 8 of the roadmap. That's public image. And I want you to look good. I want it to look amazing. I think it's great. But guess what? I'm not saying everybody could do all of their graphic design, even though I did for my whole company. We went global. I ain't paid nobody yet to do no marketing for us. It's not necessary. It's a nice to have. It's not a need to have. It's not going to change how your business is impacted. You know why we hide behind the way we look? You know why we hide behind design? It's because we don't have confidence in these skills that I'm teaching. If you listen, that would be the equivalent of you saying, I need to pay somebody $12,000, $200,000, 16,000, like the numbers that I've heard, y'all, 30 something $1,000 for a special pair of basketball shoes. Because those shoes, if I get all the gear and I get the jersey and I get all the things, that's going to make, now I'm going to be, able to go to the NBA championship or whatever. And I'm here to let you know, if you cannot dribble, pass, and shoot, if you don't have the fundamental basketball IQ, if you can't go against a high level, high quality professional opponent, somebody with a lot of skills, and win, you go 1-to-1. If you can't run a play, if you can't, pass the ball around with your team, it doesn't matter how much you spent on all the clothing and the gear and I got this, all of that. So what I want you guys to do is consider the fact that when you're spending or intending to spend tens of thousands of dollars in some cases on something to make you feel like you're doing something in your business, but you don't know how to get a consistent customer, consider the fact that you might be hiding. You might be shrinking from the greater, higher version of yourself that actually has the skill to walk out here, say what I said, and have people come to me. I've seen the transformation. There's somebody in this group right now who, I don't know if they paid it or they signed up for it or whatever. This was one of these 20 something $1,000, I'm gonna get you all the way together, like for a funnel, basically a funnel. And y'all, I'm so upset about this that I'm going to make an offer I've never made before. I'm making an offer right now. I'm going to take, I have spent $20,000, $100,000 total, probably more than that, on training and coaching and programs and people who say, oh, I've got a course. I'm gonna teach you how to build a podcast. I'm gonna teach you how to build a funnel. I'm gonna teach you how to build a digital, digital marketing for your whole business and online course creator. I've studied them all. Some of them I know personally, they're my mentors. Some of them I paid for the courses. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take everything I learned. Some of it is outdated. Some of it is garbage. I'm going to kick out the garbage and the stuff that actually works. Fundamental skills that everybody in this group should know, including your 5-star pitch, which I won't get off of it because most of y'all still haven't nailed your 5-star pitch. But when you do, you see that people start moving differently. When you start talking differently, people start moving differently. So I saw somebody who had committed to one of these 20-something $1,000 things, but they just changed their pitch, changed the way they talk about their work. And now they got people trying to come to their event. Total shift versus what they were paying for to get on a stage to have some credibility so somebody else could stamp them and say, you're worthy of people following you and moving when you speak. When are we going to lock into the fact that we are the value? Okay, that's what capitalism has done to us. Capitalism has reprogrammed you to believe that you need something outside of yourself. You need, oh, if I just look better. You need, if it was just this and that. Now, unless your customer has told you, hey, I would work with you, but your logo looks like trash. If you update your logo, I'm buying this all day, every day. If your customer told you that, then okay, it's time to make an investment. But like I said, 9.9 times out of 10, that is not the case. This is us in our head, in our feeling, in our ego, thinking that we need to be a certain way, look a certain way to be great. You can get, I'm seeing brands, people using Google Docs, no images, just text. That's what they sell. That is their actual product. They put their words into a Google Doc and they sell it to their people and they get on Zoom and they teach from that document. No slides, no images, no AI, none of that. Go on LinkedIn, invite people to the thing, give them a Google Doc, give them the value. $1.2 million she made last year. So is it really the presentation and the imagery, and I need a social media manager and I need this fancy funnel that you don't even know how to use, and this website that you can go on? If they can go on Canva and build you a website, you can go on Canva and build the website. Now, you might be like, I don't want to learn all that. I don't want to do all that. Okay, so let me ask you this. What is it that we're doing with our time? If you don't have time to get out here and take a weekend, because this kind of stuff should take you a weekend. Okay, I want to update my logo. Do you know how many tools we have access to now from AI? but before AI, I mean, this has been available to us for at least 15 years. You've got templates. Your website can be amazing. Go on there and hit the button. If you don't, I don't know how to use Canva, I'm not using all the tools properly. Take you a weekend, get you your favorite, go to the store. Okay, let's go to Kroger. I don't even believe in Kroger. Don't buy that Kroger water. But I like, go to Publix. Y'all been to the club Publix? It's hilarious. It's like a disco inside the club, the Publix, only in Atlanta. But go to said store. Get your favorite snack. Get you something, right? That's going to have you so you could sit down, get you your favorite meal, get you your little Publix sub sandwich, have you ready to go. Plan you a weekend. Okay, if it's warm, you can sit outside in the deck or whatever. Get you somewhere where you want to sit down and go on there. First day, 48 hours. Okay, first day, you go in there and pull out a set of videos. Find you somebody on YouTube who's great at teaching how to use Canva. Let's just use that example. Sit there and watch videos. Take notes. Look at some templates. Look at some things. Go in there and pull down. Okay, I like this. I like the way this looks. I'm going to use this one for mine. Oh, I like this font. Do all that. That's day one. Okay. Saturday, you started at 9 in the morning, finish about 3 or 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Now go watch a movie. Go chill. Go do what you want to do. It's Saturday night. Cool. Next day, wake up. Pull down the templates that you selected and pull your instructions. You took notes yesterday and create you a brand. Update your logo, get your little font, download everything you need to download. You can make a landing page, all of that in Canva. By the end of Sunday evening, you're done. How much did you spend? You might have paid, what is it, $30 a month? What is it to do the Canva Pro thing? Possibly, versus spending 5, 7, 12, 16. I'm seeing proposals, y'all. People are spending $15,000 and $20,000 on their branding, and they don't know how to get a consistent customer in their business. And I'm telling you, we're out of order. I'm telling you, we watch too much Diddy. I'm telling you that the entertainment industry that we've been distracted by for all of these years and decades and getting to centuries now, they're playing in our face. And they got you thinking that if you just look professional, if you just look, if I just looked a little better, that's going to magically bring you all this money. And I'm telling you, I don't know how else to say this. I got the spirit of my grandmother in me. I'm sitting in the seat of the ancestors, and I'm telling you, the devil is a lie. You don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on your branding. You need to learn the basic skills of how to go to a human, have a conversation, turn that human interaction into a transaction, and make it something that's transformative. So not only do they want to work with you one good time, they want to continue to be an ongoing customer, and they want to go and tell somebody else about you. This is the secret sauce. This is what makes the difference between businesses that make money and businesses that are always trying to chase an investor, chase a loan, chase a grant, chasing people off the fireside chat and trying to meet them when they come out the bathroom. So if I could just get in front of Damon John, if I could just get in front of Shaq, if Kamala could hear my message when she come, then something magical is going to happen. Y'all stop it. Okay, I don't want you, I'm not saying your brand needs to look raggedy, but I am saying 48 hours, you can fix your brand using tools that will cost you less than $50. You've got to, if you don't care that much about your brand, then why would you go and borrow your mama's retirement money and let her take $10,000 out to give to you to hire somebody else to pay you to make a brand? Then what you gonna do? You're still not gonna put the time and the effort in. Do you see what I'm saying? We have to shift. You don't need branding, okay? You need to elevate. You need to rise. So let's start there. The second thing I want to tell you, because it's not 1985, we do not have time to be out here playing like, I just want to look cute. I want my page to look cute. Oh, her page looks cute. You could literally take a screenshot. I'm not telling you to do this, but you could, of somebody's like brand or whatever. I really like this font. Go on, what font is this? And let them tell you which fonts look similar to that font. Then pull down said font, go back into Canva, okay, and make you a logo and a thing. Use some AI, get, all these tools out here and let them generate you a logo right quick. Why are we doing this? I'm so sorry to those of you who are graphic designers. Sorry, not sorry. You need to be serving the people who need you. You need to be serving the people like me. I literally did all of my own decks, all of my own literally my logo, all of it. And I'm globally recognized in my space. Google, Amazon, Apple, Wired, New York Times, Forbes. You're not going to tell me nothing about this, okay? And then when I get to that place where I got 15 people working for me, which I did at that time, and it's like, let's do a rebrand, let's do something cool. Then you know what I did? Then I hired the people who do branding for Chick-fil-A. Then I hired them. Then they came on in and did some cool, they do all kinds of cool stuff. It's cool stuff y'all know how to do. I don't know nothing about all that. I'm not saying we don't need designers. I'm saying don't do things out of order and then wonder why your business is failing. Don't borrow money to pay for something when your revenue does not justify it. Don't think that looking better or having something better is going to make it. When honestly, you trying to get somebody else to do it because you don't want to sit in the energy long enough to do what you need to do to build a business. You can take a picture of somebody's logo, go find out what font looks similar to that, and make your own logo in Canva. Okay, you can make your own landing page. Take a weekend, go on YouTube, figure out how to do the Squarespace or whichever one you want to do. Unless you are moving millions of dollars, okay, in across country, nation borders, you can use one of these pre-existing tools for this stage of your business. There's no, I need a custom coded. Why? Why do you need that? Why do you need that? I had to have a custom coded WordPress site is what we did and had our own server. Why? Because I had data, water quality data. It was national security, okay? We had to make sure nobody was just hacking, like Coca-Cola was the first company that we worked with through the Bridge Community Program. I couldn't just have this data just outside. Most of you guys, okay, can get on Squarespace or Wix or Canva and do the thing and turn on the thing and get your Stripe connected to it or your Gumroad and begin. There's no reason for this. There's no reason for us to be paying people hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm saying that because I need to save y'all. We don't have time. There's no more time. Time is up. So I'm going to tell you what's really going on with Greenland because they're playing in our face. Okay. If you know, if there's a show on Netflix called The Queen's Gambit, Gambit. Most people don't know what that word means. So I'm about to break it down for you and tell you what's really going on. Because while I looked on the Breakfast Club, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Before I take a commercial break, it's not really, but I got to keep my WhatsApp people together. If I go on the Breakfast Club right now, go on, is this, no. I'm gonna go on their YouTube page. Let's just see what we talking about on the Breakfast Club today. Is this one of our main media outlets for our people? Love our people. Come on, y'all. Come on, people. Come on, my people. We got Max B and French Montana talking unbreakable bonds, Coke wave, legacy, and more. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. Okay, then below that we have 15,000 New York City nurses go on strike. Minnesota sues Trump administration and more. Then we've had Chris Brown's defamation lawsuit over Doc dismissed. Pooh Shiesty says he's not in police custody. This was 4 hours ago. And then we got Masika speaks out after Fetty Wap prison release. Okay, then we got yesterday, 1 day ago, Kristi Noem defends Trump's justification of Renee Good's death. All right, I could keep going. Guess what I don't see? Oh, we got Golden Globes. We got TK Carter passed away. We got that lady that don't nobody know who this lady is. I don't mean to offend nobody, but I kind of do. Why is she famous? I don't know, but she broke up with the man because she found out that he was cheating on her. And okay, that's what we're talking about. And we've got, more Fetty Wap. You know, I'm strolling. So you hear the percentage. 90% of this is celebrity news that's not going to change my life or bank account in any way, which is fine. You know, if we just want to watch celebrity news, it's wonderful. Here's the problem. It's not 1985. It's not 2005. It's not 2015. And I'm about to tell you how they're messing with your money, and you're going to be trapped generationally if we don't start moving different. So for those of you on WhatsApp, I'll see you in part 2. Y'all hold on. And we're back for part 2. Okay, so let me break it down for you. Now, this is, you know what? I just figured out that this is just me. It's my calling. I don't have to, I'm not mad. God, you know, everybody can keep doing what y'all doing. Everybody has a lane. My lane is to be the voice in the Black community that is talking about stuff that affects our actual ability to exist as free beings in the United States of America. Because we're out here like things aren't changing, and they are. Okay, so I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm a Harvard trained historian and economist. I'm giving you facts, but you could do what you want to do with this information. Okay, so look, remember that time 10 days ago? You thought it was New Year. You'd upset. New Year, new you, or whatever energy. Saturday morning, January 3rd, 2026. You checking your phone, you scrolling through Instagram, you know, Shade Room, talk about what they talk about. World Star Hip Hop. Are they still doing that, y'all? Okay, whatever. Celebrity drama, baller alert. Okay, fine. And you got memes and little stuff going on. People still talking about relationship advice and little fashion stuff and all that. Just another Saturday. And then we probably didn't even see it right away because most of our feeds are not trained to look for this kind of stuff. 15,000 U.S. troops are in the Caribbean. We missed all that news. Breakfast Club wasn't talking about that as they moved. It took months to move that many people into the Caribbean, into the Gulf of Mexico. They want to call it the Gulf of America. Okay. And that morning, they invade Venezuela. Did you know that they used sonic weapons is what's being reported? Did you know that? I think that's illegal. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I'm just telling you what I heard. Okay, y'all can fact check, Google some things. Okay, but I heard that they were able to get in and get out in 30 minutes like that because they used a supersonic weapon that made the Venezuelan soldiers on the ground like, oh my God, like pass out. Like, do y'all watch Gen V? They were like, I can't. Like, some of them were like bleeding out of their nose and like vomiting or whatever. Like, and so then we go in and we get Maduro and then we're out of there. Like, hold on. wait a minute, if this kind of technology not only exists, but is being deployed right now in a majority black brown, I mean, not majority, it's a black/brown country. And I need y'all to understand that most of these people, whether they claim it or not, have you been to Venezuela? Because I have. I've been around the world. I do this a lot. And when I'm here, people say, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Atlanta." They're like, "No, where are your parents from?" I'm like, "Savannah, Georgia." Like, what are you talking about? They think I'm from somewhere. I don't know what that's about. When I go to Venezuela, they were like, "Oh my God, welcome. Are you from, who's your parents?" They thought I was from there, Ecuador, like certain parts of the world. Okay. These are black people. Understand. Just like when they invaded Panama 36 years prior, in 1989, January 3rd. But nobody want to talk about that. That's fine. So they're using supersonic weapons coming in the dark cover of night. Okay. Largest U.S. military operation in Latin America since 1989. Snatched this man up. You know where they put him? Same prison where Ghislaine Maxwell is. That's the lady from Epstein thing. That's where she was. Same prison where Diddy is right now. That's where they took this man. But ain't nobody talking about that. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's fine. It's cool. So they captured the president of a whole sovereign country, okay, and then proceed to say in a press conference by 11, we're gonna run the country. But you know what's trending on Black Twitter? We still talking about who broke up with who, who's pregnant by who, and all of this. Okay, fine. That's what you want to do. But I just need you to understand that there's a split screen happening and it's messing with your money. I'm going to get to it. Okay. It's messing with your money. So on one side, we got entertainment, distraction, celebrity culture, relationship drama, sports, the Diddy documentary, music, everything that's designed to keep you scrolling, laughing, engaged with anything except what's actually going on in the world and how we need to be preparing. So that's on one screen. On the other screen, we're in the midst of the largest geopolitical chess game in modern history. We're in the midst of the largest global wealth transfer in human history right now. And this game has been going on with Greenland for 157 years. I bet you didn't know that. We're going to talk about it today. So your economic future is being decided by people who never asked for your input. Does this sound familiar? Have we been through this before as a people? They don't ask your input. They just make a decision like 1884, the scramble for Africa. And they're like, this is what we're going to do. They divide up the whole continent. I don't know what we were doing at the time. 1884, trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? And then the decision is done and then they come out, bah, 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 and then whoa. And then now your world just got different. They're doing it again. So everybody living, minding their business, driving around like it's cool in America, they're doing it again. Okay, so here's what you need to understand. They need you to keep watching the first screen to be distracted. Because if you see what's going on over here, you might start asking questions. If you see what's going on in Greenland and they're making decisions like, oh, we could just pay each resident $100,000 or maybe even $1 million. This has been seriously discussed because there's 56 plus thousand residents in Greenland. They're like, oh, we'll just pay everybody some money and then we'll take over and there we go. Somebody asked the question. I saw like one video out of 100. They were like, well, wait a minute. If we got time to do that, how come we can't have a serious conversation about reparations though? Or how come they can't pay the healthcare thing though? Because y'all, this is a serious matter. This is serious times. Not only, it was already bad enough, but now if ACA 600,000 or 800,000 people did not renew or sign up for ACA, the health, when you renew every year for your health insurance, they just didn't do it. So guess what's going to happen to those people? They're going to be in the emergency room, but hospitals are closing. Like, what's about to happen? Like people, it's been estimated by the Peterson Institute. This is an international economic institute. 700,000 people are going to possibly lose their lives because of the economic decisions that are being made right now while we watching Diddy. It's going to affect you. I'm in a group. Shout out to the Ultimate Wealth Expo, and they do a lot of talk. Is healers in this group, like actual healers. And y'all need to be building some community. You need community. When you can't go to the hospital, when you can't get your medicine because the tariffs, it comes from some other country, and now tariffs said no. You're going to need community. And I'm in this group, And these people were talking about how they've healed from all types of diseases and cancer and things like that because of changing their diet and being exposed to good information, which they don't want you to have. But if you're not in community, you just stuck with whatever they give you, right? And they're talking about how even in so doing, the reason why they decided to seek alternative health and medicine is because one doctor visit, and they were supposed to make 2 to 4 a month, something like that, $3,400, $4,200 to pay to save your life. So if you don't have insurance, because they just got rid of that, and something happens to you or a family member, what are you going to do? You need some money. Like, this is a time for us to be getting our financial houses in order. But we watching Diddy. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So anyway, back to Greenland. So if you were paying attention, you might start asking, well, hold on. Like, what are we doing? Like, we sent $40 billion to Argentina last year, just, casually. But they don't have time to take care of you. They voted down clean water in Colorado. You think that's not coming to your town? Did y'all forget what happened in Flint? If they stop investing in infrastructure, if they keep approving these data centers and continue to pollute our communities, they no longer count the human cost of air pollution. The EPA, no longer. They're not tracking that anymore. So they just keep doing that. It's going to affect you. Okay, our food supply, agriculture, the supply chain, being able to go to a store and get what you need, it's being impacted right now. If you were paying attention, you might demand some answers. You might have some conversations in your community. You might organize. You might start preparing. And most importantly, you might take your business more seriously and develop some skills that are actually going to help you make some money. What if you do have to relocate to Portugal or Ghana or Mauritius or somewhere? Don't you want to know how to go out here and connect with humans and generate revenue? Instead of the only thing you know how to do is go ask somebody for some money and ask somebody for a grant and ask somebody to help you. And they say, sure, I'll help you, capitalism, but you gonna pay me $15,000. You don't have it. So then what? Then what? Y'all are going to be trapped in this digital control grid that's being announced on January the 19th. In Davos, Switzerland. What do I know about Switzerland? I got an office there. I'm telling you how these people move. And y'all, listen, I'm saying too much. I'm on live stream. I'm saying entirely too much, but we don't have time. Okay. So they want you distracted. They don't want you to know what's going on. I love Tiana Taylor. I like her dress. I like what she had on. I'm watching all the fashion at the Golden Globes, but guess what? I do the recap on the YouTube shorts with the man. I forget his name. I would give him a shout out. I like him. In 5 minutes and go head on while I'm eating lunch. I don't take my whole life and just casually, oh, we're going to the mall. Oh, I'm going to Belize. Oh, I'm going to chill out here. Oh, I'm going on a cruise. Oh, I'm looking around. Oh, I'm going to the networking and meatballs and alcohol events. We don't have time. So anyway, today I'm going to show you both screens. I'm going to show you this game that they've been playing for 157 years. It started in 1867 and it's reaching its end game now. So for those of you on YouTube, this is going to be like a 3-parter or whatever, but you need to start talking to your family about this stuff. You need to find groups of pockets of people who are discussing this stuff. You need to start moving differently while we still have time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how Venezuela connects to Greenland, Greenland connects to China, and all of it connects to your economic future. That's what this channel is going to be about. So if you're on whatever channel somewhere and you haven't subscribed, do the thing. I don't know, do the follow, whatever you want to say. But most importantly, I'm going to show you the distinction, what's on the screen, what Black people still got time to talk about Nicki Minaj. Y'all, listen, whatever she going to do, she got a check for doing it. I need you to get you a check. How about that? How about that? They're distracting us on purpose. So can we just look and see what's happening on the board really clearly, right quick? So again, back to this word, gambit, Gambit. This is a chess term that explains everything that I'm about to say. Okay, so in chess, a gambit is this opening move when you deliberately sacrifice a piece, like a pawn, you like purposely put it in the way in order to gain strategic advantage later in the game. You give up something small now to position yourself for something bigger later. The most famous one, again, is that Netflix show is called Queen's Gambit. What you do is, if you know chess, you move a pawn to d4. Then black responds, move to D5. So now they're cat a corner. So that means this one can take the black one can take the white one. Then you move another pawn. It looks like a mistake because black is just going to take that piece, free piece. But if that second player takes that bait, now the first player has control of the entire board. It's actually a setup. So a gambit isn't about what you sacrifice. It's about the position that you gain. So 157 years they've been playing this game. The pawns are countries and everybody that lives in it. The board is the globe. The prize isn't just checkmate, it's control of all the resources that will define how you can live and function. You know, we live under capitalism, right? Capitalism was not built for us, it was built on us. We were not designed to prosper in this system, okay? We are supposed to check in and check out, clock in and clock out, do what they tell us to do. We're the labor. So what we have to do instead is learn how to control our resources that ourselves personally, because if they do it at the macro scale without our preparation, we're going to be trapped for at least, let's call it several decades. All right. And I'm being very generous when I say that. So when you regular folk, they don't even consider you players on the board. Okay. They just want to keep you distracted and keep us watching NFL games and stuff like that while they do what they do. Okay, so March 30th, 1867. I told this story the other day. It was a Saturday night in Washington, D.C. 1867. You heard what I said. Okay, so while we had just got out of slavery, child, we tried to figure it out. And he was Secretary of State. Same way Marco Rubio is Secretary of State right now. There's a man named William Seward. He signed the treaty. He bought Alaska for $7.2 million. That was about 2 cents per acre. That was a great deal. It was a great deal. They made like 175,000% return on that just from the oil alone since they did this. Okay. But at the time, the newspaper was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing this? That's hilarious. They call it Seward's folly. Okay. They're like, this is dumb. It won't change anything. It's whatever. But look at him. Look at him. Frozen wasteland. Okay. But guess what? He bought it, turned into a great investment. I mean, Alaska, we need that, right? Or whatever. So within months after that, now he had secret studies going. He was trying to figure out, not Alaska, because they figured that out. And y'all, when I do the edited version of this, I'm going to put a map so you can see, if you look at the globe from the top, Alaska's right here, Canada's right here. Next to it, you got Greenland in the middle, the biggest island in the world. And then on the other side, you got Russia. And in the middle of that is the Arctic Ocean. They're all like right there. Okay. And the Arctic Ocean used to be frozen. It's thawing out. Okay. That's why Greenland is a conversation. But anyway, he was looking for control of Greenland. And also he was looking at Iceland, because if they control that North Atlantic, that Arctic thing, then they would, have significant influence over what was going on in Russia and China. We think of that as the other side of the world, but if you go north, it's just right there. Okay. So remember now, the Civil War just ended 2 years before that. 4 million enslaved people are trying to figure out what freedom looks like. No resources, just like y'all don't have no resources right now. I don't know why we're chilling like it's cool, because we don't have any resources right now. But okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So history doesn't repeat itself. Come on, Mark Twain. But it does rhyme. But nobody paying attention, because did he? I don't know. But Reconstruction was unfolding, and the Secretary of State back then was thinking about the 21st century. Seward, not next year, not next decade, a whole century later. They plan in decades and centuries because they already have generational wealth, y'all. We don't. We're always focused on right here, right now. I need a job right now. I got to pay my rent right now. I'm going to the Juicy Crab and Hookah Lounge right now. None of our leaders are talking about whatever's going on that's going to affect us 50 years from now. Not one of them. Not one. By the time they come talk about AI, it's too late. Like, y'all, we should have been on that in 2020. Okay, in 2019 and 2017, when they were talking about, when they made it public, when they first started talking about blockchain and this and that, we should have been on it then. You know what they're still doing right now? They have coding boot camps teaching Black kids how to do HTML. Do you know how useless a skill that is? Most coding is now completely useless because AI can do that. But we don't have the understanding of the fundamentals and the foundational things, so we can't innovate And then we have Black leaders right now. Y'all, I won't stop. I won't stop because I don't want to see my people walking down the street like they were after Katrina. Y'all saw what happened. If we don't get any resources and we don't have a way that we can mobilize and we don't have community and we're depending on this government, we will be walking down the street. It'll be like the Trail of Tears. You'll be walking down the freeway with nothing but the clothes on your back. They're not coming to save us. I did not mean to get this turned on today. I'm trying to listen. Y'all better get you some assets and get out the way and take care of your family. And if nobody's around you talking like this, you need to find community. You need to find community. This is not a game. Okay. Grand strategy operates on timescales that regular people, including me, regular people, if you don't have $1 billion or 100 million or well over $10 million in your bank account, I'm talking about you. Regular folks cannot afford to think about this kind of stuff because we worried about, okay, in 1867, I'm going to assume that we were focused on important things, like would we be able to register to vote without getting killed? Black people in the South were worried about Jim Crow, right? They kept playing with us and doing all the sharecropping and playing with our money and stuff like that. So in that time, in 1867, we couldn't be planning for Arctic trades and taking over the North Pole. We were worried about feeding our family, right? But the people who are making these decisions are not worried about those things because they already have generational wealth. They've already conquered capitalism. They have security. They can plan decades and centuries ahead. And that's how they keep doing this to us. Okay. So we had civil rights. We had this moment. Civil rights was a bubble. The bubble has burst. And we have now got to start moving differently. Okay. I believe that entrepreneurship is 21st century activism. I believe that while there are thousands of protests around the country and people just now figured out, oh, you can get it too. They just figured this out. As Black people, I want you to remember George Floyd, that was in Minneapolis too. Remember 2016, Philando Castile, when they did the same thing and reached in that man's car? It's on camera and pow, that was Minneapolis too. So we're not new to this, all right? So this is a warning, not for you to be like, oh my God, like, rah, rah. It's not 1965, y'all. You need to get some money and get out of the way. What are you going to do when they come to your town and start knocking on doors? They said, we're going door to door. Do you have your birth certificate? Where is your passport? Do you have a plan? If you find out something's about to go down in your city, do you have somewhere to go? Do you have an exit plan? Do you have enough money to even think about that? Okay, so 1867, he signs a thing. He buys Alaska and does all of that. That would have been, it was $7.2 million, would have been about $150 million in today's money. He's planning all this stuff. Okay, and they're commissioning studies for Greenland and things like that. And they didn't get it, obviously. They didn't get Greenland back then. But this is us at the same time. I want this to be etched in your brain. Same time. That's going on. We just got out of slavery. 13th Amendment, abolished slavery 2 years before this. And we're just floating around. But freedom without resources is just a different kind of prison. And I want you to understand that the president of the United States has said a few days ago, he's getting on a plane. He's going to Davos, Switzerland on January the 19th, where he will give a speech. And the person who hosts that organization, who hosts that conference every year, has said by 2030, y'all ain't got to worry about it. You're not going to own anything and you're going to love it. You're going to rent everything. Freedom without resources is a different kind of prison, because if you rent everything, think about your subscription, think about, Netflix and, your phone or whatever, right? If you don't pay the bill, what they do, they might send you a couple of notifications, and then what they do, bloop, bloop, they turn it off. And you're like, oh man, can't log into my Netflix, ha 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 ha, okay, ha ha. And then a few weeks go by and then you switch your bank account card or whatever, and then you turn it back on. What if your entire life is this way? What if you have an electric car, you got a smart house, you got, everything? is on subscription. You don't pay the bill, or you got a tax bill that you haven't paid, or you got a ticket that you haven't paid, or you got a health bill that you can't handle, or you got student loan debt that they pull up the records that you never paid, and they say, oh, and bloop, bloop, and then they turn off your house, your access to your neighborhood, your car, your social credit score drops. Now you go to the airport, they won't let you get on a plane. They turn off your passport. It's digital prison. And I sound crazy, except for all of this is actually happening in real time. Now, I've been knowing about this. I've been telling y'all about this. I've been yelling about it for some years. However, you can now Google it yourself. That's the only reason I'm coming outside. And I'm telling you that we don't have time because they're way ahead of the game. They have practiced what they're going to do. They've used this technology in Gaza. They're using it right now in Venezuela. They got the people down there. The economy has been wrecked for some time. So now they were like, oh, it's not going so well for you guys. You need some extra income here. And they gave them little jobs. You know what those little jobs were? To like train the data models. To like get in there and like, tell me what you see. Is this a street light? Is this or this? Y'all know them captures. We're training data models. They did all of that. And they were supposed to be paying them. They didn't really pay them too well. Da, 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 da. Then when they get it perfected, you know what they do? They turn on the system for the whole country, just like China has one. UK is on the plan now. They told you got to get a digital ID. If you don't, you can't work. Why? Because all of your money, all of your bank accounts, all of your everything is going to be tied to that ID. Your healthcare, your ability to get benefits, your ability to move, your ability to go to school, to live in a certain neighborhood. It is a digital control grid. They're building it right now, and we don't have time. You know, back in 1867, we had the Freedmen's Bureau, you know what I'm saying? It was providing a little bit of support, a little education, a little medical care here and there, you know, helping negotiate stuff like that. But we didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. And again, they got time to spend $7.2 million, which would have been $150 million today, to get Alaska for some future strategic purpose. But they didn't have time to give us what we needed. Does this sound familiar? Is this not what's happening? They're offering $100,000 to $1 million per citizen in Greenland, cutting off your health care, cutting off the SNAP, cutting off, you know, basic stuff, getting rid of jobs, mass layoffs. Most people were talking about Venezuela, so we missed the jobs report. It was the worst we've seen since 2008. It's not looking good out here, y'all. So even though we always find a way, right? When we have community, when we lock in, we build. We started schools back in the day, you know, Fisk and Howard and Morehouse. That's when all these schools were founded. All of our fraternities and sororities were founded. By 1910, about 45 years after slavery had ended, we owned 15 million acres of farmland. We were community back then. You know how much we own right now? Less than 5, which is 0.5% of all the farmland in this country. We're not doing well. We don't have community anymore, y'all. We don't have the same institutions anymore. But as long as they keep us distracted out here, you know when we lost community? After the civil rights movement, integration. And then it became every man for himself. Then it became, ooh, look at what the entertainers are doing. Look at what the NBA players are doing. Get you some money, get you a house, get you a car. Turn up. You're in the club, all of that. And still right now, that's what we're paying attention to. So there's a game that's being played by people who have generational wealth and who have access to political power, who think in terms of decades and centuries, who have a plan. Okay, rich people got cash flow, they buy assets, then they leverage those assets, they borrow against those assets, they don't sell the assets. What did we all do? Grandmama had a house, your mama and them had a house, granddaddy had some land in the 60s and 70s as we were coming up in the 80s. Guess what we did? We sold it. We don't have any assets that we're passing down to the next generation. We are losing at this game of capitalism because it is a game. And we still just trying to survive, just trying to make it and being distracted by entertainment, which was a plan. Y'all could Google it. In the 40s, they said, ooh, entertainers are a great way to distract these people from what's going on out here. And they've been doing it ever since. So they need you focused on survival. They need you looking at whatever Diddy them are doing and just focusing on my rent and my next bill. And as soon as I get $300, I'm going to the Juicy Crab thing. And as soon as I get $3,000, I'm going to a Carnival cruise because I need a break because Stella got to get her groove back and all this kind of stuff. We don't invest in our own futures. Then the entrepreneurship scam came. Okay, this is what happened to us in George Floyd times, you guys. This is what they did. They said, oh, this is so horrible. Oh my God, look what happened. Remember, every corporation in the world was like, oh, this is horrible. We support Black business. We want to help people build a business. As if this was a new problem that just happened in 2020, y'all. It was a scam. So everybody comes out marching, and we thought we were supposed to do. We're marching. They're like, oh, we support. They pledged billions of dollars to Black business. And I want you to understand that within 5 years, wasn't even full 5 calendar years, by January 2025, DEI was now outlawed, canceled, shut down. But y'all done quit your jobs, started a business. Now you're looking for grant checks and pitch competition checks, and no resources, no support. They didn't teach you how to actually play the game to win. So now you're just out here, which is where they want you, because now all you can do is consume and ask somebody for help. You're stuck. You're stuck. And when they put the surveillance grid on top of that, you won't be able to get out. So if y'all are still with me, I'm going to keep going in part 3. And we're back for part 3. Okay, so listen. That was just from 1867 to 1910s, okay? 1917, we're in World War I. Sound familiar? Europe is going crazy. All of that. Now, Denmark, y'all know they controlled Greenland or whatever. They were neutral in the war. But you know what they did during this time? They needed some money. They needed some money to stay out of the war that was going crazy around them. So they approached the United States with an offer. And they said, hey, we got some land not too far from y'all. The Danish West Indies. This was 3 Caribbean islands. Most people don't know this. St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. They were strategic harbors. They could put some naval bases. You had a clean approach to the Panama Canal and all of that. They said, can you give us $25 million? But we want it in gold, though. Like, don't play with me with these dollars. We want it in gold. We want it in gold. And America was like, cool. March 31st, 1917, while we're in World War I over there, we quietly got the Danish West Indies. Today, we call it the U.S. Virgin Islands because we had time. So this is why I want you to understand. Don't let these people play in your face, because Denmark has sold land to the United States before. They're like, oh, absolutely not. You can't have Greenland. We're not selling anything. Da, 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 da. This is not new. They've done it before. So what's the problem? Listen, this is a precedent. It happened before. But you know what they did not sell in 1917, which we had already tried to buy in 1867? Greenland. Now, mind you, 1917, 1918, we had a plague. Was that 1918? When was the plague, y'all? The other one. 1918. The Spanish flu thing. Sound familiar? The whole world, all of a sudden, oh my God, we got this pandemic out here, everybody dying, passing out. That was 1918. Okay. And then we ended World War I and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Guess what else we were focused on? A pandemic. And, by 1921, Tulsa. By 1917, it had been about 50 years since all this systemic oppression, but we're building anyway. Black middle class was growing. We got Black-owned banks. We got insurance companies. We got newspapers. We got schools. All of the HBCUs, a lot of them were already founded by then. We were outside. Okay, so like Greenwood and Tulsa, Black Wall Street, was thriving. But by 1917, we had the East St. Louis massacre. Y'all need to do your history. While they buying the Virgin Islands, we had East St. Louis massacre, white mobs attacking black neighborhoods, about anywhere from 40 to 250 black people killed in one neighborhood. Do you understand? This is crazy. Because why? We were showing ourselves to be competition economically. Black people were getting hired in factories. Remember the Great Migration? Remember we were moving up, we were going up north, we were doing, and it was okay. Just trying to live our best life. So they started burning down black neighborhoods, killing black people, destroying black wealth. In the South, we had Jim Crow. This is the same year now. We buying the Virgin Islands, and we got time to take over the Caribbean. But we were being murdered and just trying to work. 370,000 black soldiers served in World War I. We went to France. We did all that. You know what we found out when we went over there? That's when that whole narrative started. We were like, hold on. They're not even treating us like second-class citizens. They were being cool to us. They were being cool. And we came back to this BS. 1919. I don't know if y'all know this history. They called it the Red Summer. There were dozens of race riots across America. Dozens. White mobs running around just going crazy. It's kind of like what these police are doing out here. Not police. What do we call these people? What do we call them? Border patrol in places where we're not on the border. Just running around, just randomly attacking people. They were doing that in 1919. Riots, okay, in streets. Black veterans, people who had fought overseas for democracy, came back and were being lynched in uniform. But we had time as a United States, while this was going on, to buy the U.S. Virgin Islands. Does this sound familiar? Y'all, Michael Jackson done told y'all. I just want to let you know, they don't really care about what's happening to you in your community. And if you sit here and you wait until it's too late, when all the resources go away, when all the big institutions pull out, just like they pulled out, they were like, oh, we care about Black business, until they didn't. Until all that money dries up and you're left with nothing. Don't wait till it happens again, you guys. I'm just telling you history. Don't wait till it happens again, because they got time to strategize and do all of that. They're not here to protect you and make sure that you can exist safely in this country that we and our ancestors helped to build. Okay. So despite all of that, you remember we moved from 1916 to about 1970, 6 million Black people, the Great Migration, moved from the rural South to the urban North, to the West, Midwest. That's, St. Louis, Chicago. Come on, y'all. Black towns all in LA. Remember that time? Y'all forgot last year this time LA was on fire? You know what the town that got burned down? It was a Black town, Altadena. But don't nobody want to talk about that. When they first started all that mess and the first set of ICE agents were in LA, you know where they were? They were in the Hispanic part of Compton. But don't nobody want to talk about that. They were invading our communities. But okay, it's all right. So you're going to wait till it comes to your city. I got it. Okay. So we were trying to, back in the Great Migration now, we were trying to vote with our feet, trying to make strategic decisions about where opportunity exists. And we were building wealth. We're doing pretty good. Even though we were excluded from credit. Do you guys know they're about to kick you all the way off the credit system? We think, oh, my FICO score is not bad. You know, they're moving to a cash flow credit system now. Cash flow credit system, which means it's not just based on your FICO score. They're going to actually look at the cash flow in your bank. So how do you think that's going to work out for all of the Black people who followed the entrepreneurship narrative and quit their jobs, jumped out here with no skills for how to build a business, no actual cash flow coming in, and now they say your credit is now based on your cash flow in your bank account? So we're sorry you don't qualify. Do you know what's about to happen? Hundreds of thousands of families are not going to be able to afford, as rent continues to rise, as mortgages continue to go up, and we can't pay for food out here using Klarna and what's the other one called? Afterpay. In your wheels now. You don't know how you're going to make your money. You don't know from one day to the next. But you got time. This is why I went on my original rant today. You still got time to consider paying somebody $5, $10, $15,000 to do you some marketing and branding. You can tell by the proposal that they sent you that they don't know what they're doing. They went in Canva and said bloop, bloop, bloop. And when you pay them, they're going to go in Canva and go bloop, bloop, bloop. So why don't you keep that money, buy you some XRP and some assets that are going to outpace what's coming for the US dollar? Because the only reason that we invaded Venezuela is to artificially prop up the crashing US dollar. I am not supposed to be outside talking like this but I am, because I want y'all to be okay. Do you know redlining is back? We could talk about that in another episode. Y'all remember back in the day, redlining, you couldn't move to certain neighborhoods, couldn't do that. Do you know it's coming back? And this time they're going to be able to do it based on your social credit score. But guess what? One of the main factors in your social credit score is going to be your actual credit score. And guess what they're moving to? Cash flow credit scores. So if you're not making no money, you are going to have a problem in the version of the economy that is coming. Okay. So we used to have, you know what, one thing we used to have working in our favor? Community. We had community. We were able to survive and share resources and share information, and we have lost that. We've lost that. So if you fast forward to what's going on right now, you understand that it's about to get bad out here. But it's like, no, we've survived through bad times before. But guess what we had then that we don't have now? Trust and community. So I'm here to create a space wherever you are. If you're in the sound of my voice, I'm going to put this on a podcast. I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm doing the Instagram thing. If you're in the WhatsApp group, listen. Nobody's having this conversation, so I'm going to host it. We got a Zoom. We meet on Thursdays. Listen, we got to get some skills, get some money, get some cash flow, buy some assets, and get out the way. We have to. Now, I'm going to keep going because I'm enjoying this story myself. Go to 1946. We had another world war after the Great Depression, mind you. You know how we survived the Great Depression? We had community. This depression that's about to hit, because it is coming, how's that going to work out for us? If you are living your best life on your own in a city, you by yourself, you don't know your neighbors, you don't have, a church that you're connected to like that, or your institutions are bankrupt at this point, or whatever that is. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive? But anyway, 1946, World War II had just ended. Harry Truman is the president, got the Soviet Union rising in power. And they are looking at, okay, now wars have changed. Used to be a ground war. You get on the ground, you walk with the guns and do all that. By World War II, the wars were fought in the air. Like a bomber jet will come and drop a bomb and it's a problem. So they're looking like, okay, it's not going to be fought in the trenches. It's going to be fought in the sky. I told you, if you have a map of the top of the world, Russia's right there. Ocean, Greenland, Canada's right there. And of course, America. Alaska is actually closer to Russia on that side than some of Canada. Okay. And we would be, with no warning, they could strike us from the air, from Russia. Okay. Remember, we were in the Cold War. So you know what we did? Truman made an offer to Denmark in 1946 to purchase Greenland. He offered this time $100 million in gold, not paper, fake fiat money. He said, nope, not bonds, actual literal gold bullion. They said at that time, Greenland is indispensable to the safety of the United States. Does this sound familiar? You guys. He said, without it, American cities are dangerously exposed. Have you heard this before? But you know what Denmark did? They said, no, thank you. Because the war was already over by this point, or whatever. But listen, this is what happened. They said, okay, you're not going to let us buy it. So guess what they did? In 1951, the U.S. and Denmark signed a defense agreement that gave America the right to have permanent military access to Greenland. So we had bases and things all over there. Thule base. I think that's how you say it. Thule. Thule, okay, air base has now been changed to Patuxent, is what it's called now. Patuxent. It's the northernmost U.S. military installation on Earth. Okay, so we had access, we had a lot of bases going on, but we never stopped wanting to buy it. Now, mind you, what was going on with Black people in 1946? 1.2 million Black Americans served in the military. We had just gotten home. We fought the big war and segregated units, all this discrimination going on in uniform, but we were proud, all of the things. We come home. The GI Bill got passed in 1944, offering education benefits, home loans, business loans, and all of this stuff to veterans so people could rebuild their lives. This is what would create the American middle class, but it didn't work for us because the GI Bill was administered locally. So that meant in the South and in places where they were tripping, local officials denied benefits. They ultimately gave out 4.3 million home loans, which homes are the basis for generational wealth. That is the first piece of asset that people get, right? And then they keep the home and then they get a second home and they pass it on to the kids and the whole thing. Y'all know how this goes. So between 1944 and 1952, the VA backed 4.3 million home loans. Less than 100,000 of those home loans went to non-white veterans. But we got time. This was the same period of time when Truman is offering $100 million in gold for Greenland. Does this sound familiar? Are you hearing the pattern yet? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? The GI Bill came and rescued the white middle class, or created the white middle class. It's one of the largest wealth transfers in American history. Black Americans were locked out. There wasn't a shortage of money because we were offering $100 million to buy Greenland, just like we're offering up to $1 million per citizen for Greenland right now today. But guess who's locked out? People that look like you and me. And now the difference is back then we still had, what's my favorite word of the day? Community. 1940s and 50s, we see the rise of the civil rights movement. We outside, legal challenges to segregation. We're doing what we need to do. We found new organizations. We're doing all the things. Brown versus Board of Education. The Montgomery bus boycott, which could not have happened. If we tried it today, it wouldn't work. Y'all, we couldn't even stay out of Target. Y'all saw the people on TikTok. We say, oh, we hit Target where it hurts. And then, they lost a bunch of money. Yeah, but we were still in Target. And Target is back. And how about the Minneapolis, what's the Timberwolves, the NBA team? You know what they do? So we don't, all they got to do for us? Because we were in line. Don't play with me. By this Black Friday just passed, y'all were in line talking about, let me get there first so I get the gift basket, little gift handout thing. And they gave y'all some Uno cards and some lip balm, playing in your face. The Montgomery, Minnesota Timberwolves were playing the other day. You know what their NBA whatever arena is called? The Target Center. To keep people from boycotting and being mad at the Timberwolves and not watching the game, you know what they did? They painted the whole basketball court. They painted it purple and gold. They put Prince, the symbol, on the thing. They changed the colors from blue and white and black to purple and gold so we could talk about Prince and not talk about the fact of what Target did. So that didn't last too long, now did it? We can't do what we did in terms of the economic power of a boycott. We don't have that level of stamina. We are not locked in anymore as a community. So in the 50s, we were doing that. In the 60s, we were doing that. We were thinking about the long term. We were playing the long game. We're not there anymore. We're not there anymore, y'all. So when the ish hits the fan, you are not going to have a community that's going to have your back. We see where this community is. You need to have some resources. You need to start building community among you, the people that you care about, your family. It might not be your birth family. It could be your spiritual family. You need to find people that you can lock in with and start sharing resources and start figuring it out. Shout out to Cheryl. Shout out to Kingdom Atlanta. Shout out to the people who are doing the work and trying to figure this out. because this is not like Reconstruction or Jim Crow or the Civil Rights era. We don't have the safety net of us anymore. So when it hits the fan, because we're not thinking decades ahead, we were thinking about the next party and the next club and the next whatever. We're not going to be in a very strong position. So they got us to the point where now we're scrolling our phone and not able to see what's happening all around us. We're just stuck on our phone right in front of our face. I want you to understand that they did not invade Venezuela for the oil. Yeah, they got all the oil, the most oil in the world in terms of reserves. But guess what? They're on TV, Exxon and them, they're saying it's uninvestable. It would be too expensive for us to go in here and get this oil. Do you know why they did this? Do you know why? And they've been working on this since 2000 or 2017. Okay. But they did it so that they could control the reserves. Because you got to understand, when we came off of, when we were doing disco and everything like that in the 70s, something else happened. Vietnam, all of that. We came off the gold reserve, the gold standard, for the second time. Okay. Well, we said not only is your dollar you can't turn in your dollar for gold at the bank anymore, but also we're not paying foreign entities. If you bring us your dollars, we're not giving you no gold back anymore. 1971, that's what Nixon did. That was his legacy. Thanks, Nixon. So you know what the dollar became backed by at that time? What made the US dollar the global reserve currency after that? It was the fact that every oil purchase, come on, OPEC, every oil purchase in the world, every country that was no longer doing a horse and buggy, that wanted to do anything in the economy, fly a plane, send ships, train, move anything, do anything, run factories, they had to use oil. And you weren't allowed to pay for oil in any other currency than US dollars. So that made the US dollar the global reserve currency. Guess what happened while we were paying? I don't know what we were doing in 2024. They ended. I remember. We were getting excited because we thought Kamala was about to get elected or whatever. Quietly, they ended the petrodollar agreement. They no longer have to pay for oil with US dollars. BRICS right now, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and 37 other nations are setting up trades in other denominations and gold, building workarounds to the dollar-based trade. While we were paying attention to Venezuela, Europe just did a thing. They thought the deal was dead. It's a free trade agreement, kind of like NAFTA for Latin America. They are right now building ways to do trade without us, going around us. China and Saudi Arabia are doing oil deals in yuan instead of dollars. So guess what? We grabbed the largest oil reserves by force to try to control them. We're not trying to pump out more oil. We're trying to hold off the inevitable decline of the US dollar to keep power. Same thing with what's going on in Greenland. Okay? It's not about, we're going to mine these reserves and do all this. Because if we were going to do all that, we would have done it already. We've had free reign over there since 1951. It's not about national security. If that was the case, we wouldn't be closing down military bases. We only have one left. Y'all remember when J.D. Vance went to Greenland last year and he thought they were going to welcome him and they did not? Well, he ended up going to the military base. That's the only one we have left. If this was so important for national security, we would have been expanding our presence there, not shrinking it. This is about U.S. dollar dominance. And we're on the last leg of said dominance. When the US dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency, $1.2 trillion just got pulled out. I told y'all about the Japan reverse carry trade. Nobody's reading the stars. I don't see that on Breakfast Club. When money leaves out of an economy, guess what happens next? Collapse. So my question is, while we're watching Diddy, I want to know who in your circle, in your community, in your family is having this conversation. Y'all can put some stuff in the chat. I think I can find my chat, but it's all right if you don't. I just want to know who is talking to you about what's actually going on out here. Because I mean, tell me another one. I mean, who am I? I'm sure Max B in French Montana talking Unbreakable Bonds, Coke Wave, Legacy, and more, which just came out on Breakfast Club an hour ago, is the most important thing that Black people need to be talking about right now. I'm sure of that. I'm sure Chris Brown's defamation lawsuit being dismissed and Pooh Shiesty, what he said about not being in police custody is the most important thing that Black people need to be talking about right now. I mean, that according to the Breakfast Club. The only reason they talking about what's going on in Minnesota is because we're all searching it. It's for clicks. So listen, I'm not mad at Breakfast Club. I got a friend who has somebody over there who they've done business with. They're nice people or whatever. I don't have no problem with nobody. I'm asking you, who's having this conversation? Who's looking out? Because I've just given you a very detailed, amazing, if I do say so myself. Listen, who is looking out for regular Black people when this economic system, because after the Civil War, it happened. Economic system completely recalibrated. They said, the Freedmen's Bureau is going to help. It didn't work out so well, but okay. Where my 40 acres and a mule? I missed that. And I know we from here. Okay, everybody said, listen, Cherokee, don't play with it. You calling my grandmother a liar now? We're from here. Anyway, we didn't have that. 1917, we built our own stuff. By 1921, they burned them all down. Flooding towns, 200 Black towns were flooded throughout the United States. Okay, fine. That's what you want to do. We rebuild again. Great Depression, another World War, we still outside. We saved Cadillac during that time. We're winning. Despite it all, we're going to college, we're doing the thing. They came back, said, GI Bill, just kidding, not for you. Built it around us. The whole global financial system changed right after World War II. That was Bretton Woods, all of that. The New Deal. Things that allowed us to be okay, then they called us welfare queens, even though they have more welfare recipients than we do, but okay, fine. But guess what? 1960s, we still had community. We were still winning. So they said, okay, y'all can have jobs now. You can work for the government now. You could be outside now. They did all of that. And what did we do? We allowed, instead of us stacking money, getting land. Okay, grandmama land. Okay, granddaddy had, grandmama had the house. Granddaddy had the land. Let's lock in as families, as sisters, as cousins. Let's have these family meetings. You know what we did? Started going to the disco, going to the club, turning up. And then, entertainment helped us to do so. MTV, y'all know MTV just went off the air. Their job is done. We were more concerned about entertainment culture than we were about building a financial foundation for our people. And now, I'm not going to get into it. Y'all, shout out to, I was about to call the wrong name. What's this man's name on YouTube? Because I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let y'all go find this man page and find it for yourself. Cam James. Shout out to Cam James on YouTube. Y'all go pay attention to his page. Just go and look. Our so-called leaders are out here getting their bag at our expense. So here's what I mean. Entertainers. They go out, they sing, they do the thing, they dance, they get on TV, whatever, they catch the ball, whatever it is. Whatsoever it is. Okay, fine. You get $100 million contract, you're making money, now we're billionaires, okay, yay. Or whatever. Okay. Then guess what they do? They go about their business. They go behind the gated fence. Some of them end up in the thing where Diddy and Maduro are in the same jail right now. Okay, that's fine. That's a world that's fine. Hollywood is dead. Kendrick done told y'all the party's over. Anyway, you know what? The people who are not celebrities, who can't sing, but they get a platform, do you know what they do? They get up here and start talking to sell y'all. Listen, there were a lot of scams. There's a lot of scams in the so-called Black community, and then they want to turn around after they get their bag, they get their money, and they come back and tell you, you need to go get a job. Did y'all forget that? That was just a few months ago. Y'all need to stop trying to be entrepreneurs and go get you a job. Entrepreneurship has saved our community throughout all these time periods that I'm talking about. What are we saying? Were you not an entrepreneur? Is that not how you got your bag? But now you want to tell me to go get a job. What job? If y'all on WhatsApp, I'm gonna stop yelling at you. I'll holler at you on the next one. And I'm gonna tell you how Estee Lauder, man, the heir to the Estee Lauder fortune, is the one who got us in this Greenland mess. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, I gotta go. I'm out. Pew! Y'all, how do we have time to listen to people who got a bag at our expense? Got a bag because we like to follow celebrities. Got a bag because they played the same capitalistic game that I'm breaking down for you. They figured out that what's going on. If y'all go back and watch one of the early episodes of Kevin Hart's, I don't know if he still has the talk show that he was doing on Peacock. I don't know. But one of the first episodes, he had Jay-Z on there as a guest. You know, they're friends, whatever. Okay. So they're talking, great conversation, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about, you know, how hard it is to be wealthy. Then you try to go home to your family and they trying to pitch their ideas to you. They talk about, I just need $10,000, man. I'm about to do this play. It's going to be amazing. It's going to change, you know, like that. Because we don't understand entrepreneurship. We don't understand community. I keep saying that word because just like that's what's going to save us as a people, that is the number one asset that you need to build in your business. It's community. The reason why these people can get on TV, get on YouTube, and just fleece the people. Again, I'm not calling no names. Y'all go to Cam James' page. He does a great job of breaking everything down. I'm not saying no names. Okay. The reason why they could do that is because they build community. They build following. Some of them didn't even start to 2020. When everybody was at the house, they were doing this every day. And they went to hundreds, and then they went to thousands, and they went to hundreds of thousands. Now they got millions of people that they can reach by hitting a button. You need 100 to 1,000 people in your community, at your business, that you can hit a button and communicate with. Why? So that if you have to move to the other side of the world somewhere, you can still make money because you have a group of people that are locked in with you. Okay. So the same community that we used to have walking down the street, same community that we used to have, you know, going to the town center and, oh, hey, Mr. Such Such, hey, Mr. So-so, going to school, going to church. You can build that digitally. Okay. I'm getting back on my WhatsApp. I'm getting back on because I'm about to snap. And I'm actually back for part 4 because y'all need to hear this. Listen, the community that we used to have going to the town center and waving at the store shop owner and somebody who owned the farm over here and somebody was the blacksmith over there. It's now moved digitally. I want you to understand. This is just my theory. You've never heard anybody say this because I'm saying it. I'm Avant. Y'all need to give me my credit. I got students. They go out here and quote me verbatim. Just put some respect on my name. Just say, I got this from Avant. Anyway, I'm letting you know that the comment section in YouTube, Instagram, and the places that we show up, the comment section is the new Underground Railroad. I want you to know that the books that I have discovered, the documentaries that I've found, the pieces of information, the people that I have seen and found, just by being in the comments under thoughtful videos that are talking about real stuff. This is the new community. So instead of it just being 1 or 2 people who may or may not be giving us good information out here, 1 or 2 entrepreneurship programs in the place that shall not be named that are out here Scamming y'all. I don't know what else to tell you. I used to hold back. I'm not holding back no more because they just want butts and seats. So when they say, come to this networking event, come over here, da, 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 and the first thing they tell you to do is write a business plan, you should run. They just want enough people in the seats so that they could go and tell the corporate sponsors who have asked them, hey, we want access to their data. And they said, you can have their data, no problem. And in exchange, they get on TV, they get on those stages, and they have $1 million check. They got a $10 million check. You think those people are just paying because they just really care that your business thrives? If they really cared that your business thrives, they would make sure you get a contract in their company, not like, we'll give you access to our DEI person who, as of last year, got fired. How long did that last? They would make sure that they drive business, drive customers to your product when you get in the store instead of just letting you get out there and fail. You know how many people 2 years ago, they were standing on stage, smiling with the vice president, literally talking about, yay, we did a deal with Walmart, and now they're out of business. Because it was never about that. They just wanted their little corporate check, and they do it on your backs, just like they've always done. And when are we going to take back control for ourselves? When are we going to take responsibility for ourselves? When are we going to stop watching Diddy while they're playing the same playbook I just showed y'all since 1867? We can go back further than that. 1824, 1823, the Monroe Doctrine. Pete Hegseth just got up and quoted something from 1823. This is the same playbook. And we're still not paying attention. So I say no more. So this platform, this group, this whatever, podcast, whatever this becomes, my Substack is at Doll Avant. Everywhere I go from now on, and I have a whole company, y'all. I'm not even supposed to be doing this. Got cussed out again this morning by one of my board members. Like, what are we doing? I'm saving my people. That's what I'm doing. The little bit of information I can give you, I'm speaking from the seat of the ancestors, okay? And I'm letting you know that it's time for us to make the great escape. Now, whether you move physically, literally leave the country, I got people in my circles, and we're going to talk about it, who are like, y'all need to get up out of there. America, listen. Or whether you go get you some land or get you, I don't know what you need to do. You got to follow intuition. But we've got to move differently. Because guess what? Why did they go get Venezuela? Because it paralyzed Canada. See, don't nobody talk about this. Don't nobody want to put the stars, read the stars, and put it together. We could not have escaped slavery. Come on, Harriet Tubman, if somebody couldn't read the stars. You got to put it together about what's actually going on out here. Okay, so Canada had a very close relationship with Venezuela in terms of oil and stuff like that. Now, we used to be great allies with Canada. You know what they just watched? They just watched us invade a foreign nation, capture the head of state, put him up there in the same thing, prison, literally, with Diddy, and said, we're taking over indefinitely. Why? Because we can. Why? Because apparently they're using supersonic war weapons. If y'all missed that part, they literally, this is in the New York Post now, do your research. They said he sent a little thing out, and the people were like, and that's how they went in there and did that in 30 minutes. Can we do that? I think that's a violation of international law. I think that's like a war crime. I'm not sure. I don't know. I know it violated the UN Charter, and it violates every principle that we've been operating under for the last 50, 100 years or whatever. So guess what Canada is doing? Being very, very peaceful and very, very diplomatic. They're all like, negotiations, you will be honored. They're trying to stay out of trouble with the US, okay? Because they can't do nothing. If we invade Canada, it's over with. They know this. But there's another reason why we did Venezuela first. Okay. Canada there's only two countries that could realistically support Greenland if they were going to try to become independent. Again, it's a country, it's the biggest island in the world, but they get all their money from Denmark. Okay. So if they were like, okay, we're going to not be under Denmark rule anymore, guess who could help them? I mean, Canada's right there. They could. Denmark really is struggling financially. They don't make no money off of Greenland, so they can't sustain that for real. Canada's right there. So listen, top of the world, Arctic, North Pole. You see Santa Claus 2? That's my movie. I watch it every year. You can't just operate. You have to have experience in the Arctic, equipment. Some of the equipment that we use with the greatest military in the world, it would break down if we were to actually invade Greenland. That's actually why we're offering money for Greenland. I want you to understand that. Because we can't just go in there. Like there's mountains, like there's glaciers, like we wouldn't make it. Not quite the same way, but we do have these weapons that are not supposed to be used that I guess they could probably do that. I don't know. But listen, they're not going to let China come in there and build any infrastructure. I mean, it's ice. You have 56,000 people, a bunch of ice. They don't even have roads. You know how we have like an interstate? You can go from Atlanta to Charlotte, and like they don't have that. So you got to get on a plane and jump and do this and do that. So Venezuela was not about Venezuela. It was about getting in position to get Denmark and Canada and everybody else nervous. If they go do that over there, what they gonna do to us? So now they're paralyzed. They can't do nothing. So while we're talking about, oh my God, who is this? I can't even remember the names of these people. That's how insignificant they are. Max B in French Montana. While we're talking about that, you know what Bloomberg is talking about? What the U.S. naval forces are doing. The Wall Street Journal is talking about, the world's largest oil reserves and the economic implications of what if we do something in Greenland, and Reuters and the Financial Times talking about the petrodollar, because they're preparing their audiences for what's coming. And they're preparing us to get captured and caught up by the new economic system that's coming, that's being built around us. Okay? That's what I need you to understand. It's not a game out here. It's not a game. So let me bring it all the way forward. Since we want to talk about generational wealth, but we're not actually moving like that. We want to talk about building, having all this money to do what we want to do, take care of our family and build a legacy, but we don't want to learn the skills to play the game of entrepreneurship and win. Listen, it's two games out here. It's what we got going on and the Juicy Crab and the Hookah Lounge. And it's people who got generational wealth, political connections, geographic diversification, multiple income streams, and international assets. So the people making these decisions, when Michael Jackson told y'all they don't care. Do you know why they don't care? You can say what you want to say about their personality and all of that. I think it's kind of funny to speculate as to what could possibly be going on in the minds of people who make some of these decisions. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're insulated from the consequences of their own decisions. Because they got layers of protection, layers. And I need y'all to start building some layers. I need you to not have the money that's coming to you next Friday from wherever source you get it from be the only money you got in the world. I need that to not be your reality. I need your business to be cash flowing. I need you not to take the only $5,000 you got and go pay somebody who, even if they used to work for corporate, it is not the same. Working for corporate and doing really cool graphic design for Delta and Cox is not the same as designing a strategy that is going to take to get something that's an idea in your head and turn it into a movement so that enough people will move when you speak and move when they see your marketing and want to take a chance on a product, service, or solution that they've never tried before. The difference between you and Delta, you and Nike, you and Carol's daughter, you and all of these other brands that you keep wanting to make sure you got your design looking so great, the difference? You don't have a narrative attached to your product, and they do. And you don't want to do this work to build a narrative around your product. And I'm giving you the tools. I'm giving you the framework. Start with the 5-star pitch. I'm going to show up here every day. All my channels every day. I'm going crazy. Because if we don't get out of the way and we don't get some cash flow, we're going to be trapped. Do you know the people that shall not be named that are some of our celebrities and some of our people? Do you know what they're doing? They're not hiding it. If you scroll on Instagram right now, they're moving to Africa. They're leaving the United States. And I want to know, can you do that? Do you have multiple income streams? So it's not just your job, not just your side hustle, not just these little couple of customers that you got, locally around here. Do you have some passive income? Do you have skills that will travel? Can you take your business and do it from anywhere? If you're depending on one employer or one couple of clients or one location, you are vulnerable right now. So during every major disruption, the Great Depression, 2008 financial crisis, COVID, the people who had diversified income survived and thrived while everybody else was going through it. You need portable skills. You need a community of people. Can you fix things? Can you grow food? Why aren't we learning AI? Why aren't we learning how to use these tools to hurry up and make some money and get out the way? Why? It's the same reason why we would rather go pay somebody thousands of dollars that we don't have instead of learning a skill set that we can teach it to your children. If you got to go to Madagascar to escape what is coming to this country, you should be able to go over there and teach a class on how to use certain tools. And then as long as they don't cut off the internet. Now, if they cut off the internet, that's a whole nother issue, which is why we need to hurry up, because they are cutting off the internet. Do you know in Iran, they keep talking about the protests in Iran, and President Trump, these are his words. He said, if they keep on protesting, we're going to bomb Iran too. Now, guess what? They cut off the internet over there right now. They can't get online. They can't send nothing out on TikTok. They can't Google nothing. Like, what are you going to do? Y'all remember that song? The prophet said, what you going to do when they come for you? Are you going to wait? Are we just going to sit here and wait? I mean, y'all, what we doing? So anyway, I'm going to talk about it every day. So for those of you who are just like, what is going on? I do this every day. Okay. I'm in a 100-day challenge right now. I get on a Zoom and I teach people how to turn their ideas into a cash flowing business every day at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Once a week on Thursday, I get on a Zoom and I coach people in whatever part of that process they're stuck on. Every Thursday. Remember how Cosby Show used to come on? Every Thursday, I do it from 6 to 9. Sometimes we get out early. Okay. Almost every Saturday, I teach Saturday school where I'm breaking it down. Okay. What we doing? This is what we need to do. Okay. Y'all stuck on funnels? Okay. Let's fix the funnels. And also, I'm just about to make this offer to my WhatsApp group, but look for a link somewhere. Do something. Get in WhatsApp or wherever. It's free. I mean, what? It's free. And everything I've ever learned from all these people that sell all these courses, like how to create your own digital course and how to do a podcast and how to get on YouTube, I got all of them. How to get 1 million followers on Instagram. I've studied every single one of them. I paid the money for it. I've gone to masterminds where you spend $30,000, $40,000. I have done it all. I'm going to take all that knowledge, the same knowledge. I got the knowledge. And I'm like, y'all got time to spend $37,000 to pay somebody else to do a Canva for you. Well, how about this? Let me put all of this knowledge that I got from all these other courses and I'm going to charge, I don't know. I'm going to put it on my stand store. I'm going to put it on there. One-time payment. And you take that information and you can move to the other side of the world and build all your funnels and do all of that. And you don't have to keep paying these people mortgages to do something that you should have the entrepreneurial literacy to do yourself. This is insane to me. You can make a logo. You can do this. You can make a landing page. I need y'all to get some skills that will translate as our location independent. And then I need you to get community. We are not going to survive in isolation in what's coming because the system is going to trap you. Okay. You don't have to be in the woods, like hiding in the woods and all that kind of stuff. You need to build real relationships with people who have different set of skills than you. You need to be in a community of people who are working toward the same kind of goals as you, like entrepreneurship. That's why I have this community. And you need people who would notice if something happened to you, if you disappeared. Okay. Networks that can provide information for you when some of these larger systems start breaking down. We've got to get prepared for what's coming. You could see it. You see the writing on the wall. This is 1930, whatever, in Germany. Why are we going to sit here and wait They are already, people can't use their passports. They're out of the country traveling. They try to get back on the plane. They're like, oh, I don't know, your American passport is doing something weird. I don't know. We got to call somebody. Like, why are you going to wait? Don't do that. Don't do that. Pay attention, not to the noise, not to get afraid. Don't pay attention to stuff we've been knowing. That certain types of law enforcement does not respect human life. We knew that. We told them. Now they just figured it out. That's all right. Let them go head on with that. Don't get distracted by the noise, because that's designed to generate emotion and keep you distracted. Pay attention to the signals. See what's happening, the big players, what the big players are doing, where the world is heading, so you can be over there where it's heading. Okay, so when the US invades a country with the world's largest oil reserves, that's a signal. When BRICS and other nations are trying to do what they got to do to build an alternative to the US dollar, that's a signal. When the military starts repositioning assets, the whole Caribbean is covered with the world's largest aircraft carrier came from the Mediterranean and came out down to the Caribbean. That's a signal. When our president is threatening military action in all of these, Yemen, Syria, y'all know we just bombed Syria, right? Iran, threatened to bomb Nigeria, just Mexico, Colombia, like all of them. It's a signal. So do you have time to be, oh yeah, no, it's cool. Midterms. I just talked to one of my dearest friends in the world. She's much older than I am. And I'm so concerned. Y'all, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because smart, she's brilliant. She's worked for governors, she's worked for Oscar winners, brilliant. And I said, I'm casually, because it was her birthday and, we're just catching up or whatever. And I said, yeah, you see what your president is doing? Because she's like one of the most brilliant political minds that I've ever met. Like, seriously. So I just casually wanted to see, because I know she's getting ready to move and stuff. So I'm thinking she's gonna be like, yeah, child, I'm out of here or whatever. Or like, yeah, I'm when you move, I'm moving. Like, I thought she was gonna say that. You know what she said to me? She said, yeah, but he's on his way out. Talking about the president. And I'm not sure if she meant from an age and health perspective or if she was talking about the next election. I think she was talking about the next election. But it was so shocking to me that somebody this brilliant. We're not going to be able to vote our way out of this, because it is not just political and it's not just in this country. It is economic and it is international. We live under a system, okay? In the natural, you're a human being. You have a right to be on planet Earth. You were born here. You're supposed to be able to breathe. You get sunshine, you know what I'm saying? And somebody came and put a paywall between you, food, and shelter, and clothing. Okay, if they could charge you for air, they would do that. So now, because of that, you can no longer just go outside. I'm just going to move. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get an RV and I'm just going to go. Homelessness is now illegal in the United States. So you don't have a right to just go outside. Okay, it's called trespassing. It's called, there are no fruit trees out here where you can just go pick you some fruit, because they intentionally only planted what is it, male trees, whichever one was, that's what all this pollen is about. But the ones that bear the fruit, they purposely didn't plant any of those. So you can't just go get some fruit and live off the land. No. So unless we conquer capitalism, number one, enough to get enough money to escape what's going on internally in this country, it's going to get very, very difficult. Just like, think about, when slavery was going on or whatever, the whole world wasn't in slavery, right? But in America, if you look like us in America during that time, it was very, very difficult for you to live and maneuver and do what you need to do. I'm telling you, we're going into a time where it's going to be very, very difficult to maneuver if you don't have some cash flow, if you don't have some assets that you control, of some food, some land, some water that you control. and a community of people who will have your back, give you some good information. So if you need to get out the way, you know it before it's too late. Okay, so I need y'all to have an emergency fund. I need you to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses, basic preparedness, just in case, just in case. I mean, what if the internet goes down? Let's say you're doing all your work on you got your digital, business or whatever's going on, and just an internet blackout. I mean, it happens. Or when the grid goes down. I mean, Cuba just had this a few months ago. Like, I'm not making this stuff up. What if we can't, what are you gonna do? I need you to have an emergency fund. I need you to get at least one new income stream, get your business to the point where it is profiting you to the point where you got 50%, no more than 50% of what you make covers your living expenses, and you still got extra to invest. Get you some XRP, some crypto, something that's going to outpace inflation. Get you some gold, start investing, start looking, getting ready to start paying for some visas. If you're thinking about moving out the country, go check some places out and do your reconnaissance. You know what I'm saying? Get you a marketable skill, invest, take a course or something, get you something that you could do outside of your primary job or your primary source of income, like right now. Okay. Are you tied to one industry, one region, one part of the country, one part of the world? Let's start building options elsewhere. I got a whole set of stuff that I'm going to be doing in my Substack with the resources that I'm gathering from people I got all over the world who are like, this place is good for Black people. This place is, this is how you move over here. We need to hurry up. When they get through with all of this, what they're doing, that's going to be announced January 19th in Davos. But the mainstream news is not going to report this. So consider me your reporter or whatever. When they finish all of this, it's going to be very difficult to make these moves. So let's do it now. Build community, relationships, people who know you, people who trust you. Find you some friends in some pockets and places that you could be connected to that are going to look out for you and have your back if the worst happens. If it doesn't, guess what? You're going to be rich and fabulously well connected and have friends all over the world. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Okay? If everything I say is wrong and the midterms come and 2028 come and it's fine. Everything is fine. We're back to normal. We back outside. It's cool. Guess what? Like I said, you'll be fabulously wealthy. You'll be the greatest, highest version of yourself. Your kids will thank you. You'll be living fabulously and you'll be visiting friends all over the globe. Sounds pretty good. But if I'm right, this is a matter of life and death. This is a difference between you being okay and you being trapped financially, just like people were trapped as sharecroppers for generations because you can't work yourself out of it. Do you know last year, 200,000 people in China became what they call financially homeless? And what that meant was maybe they had a tax bill they couldn't pay. Maybe they had a business and it failed. They couldn't pay their investors back. Maybe they had, something went on, whatever, something happened that dropped their social credit score. And then they were no longer allowed to start a new business. They were no longer allowed to travel and move around the country, take a plane out of the country. They were no longer allowed to live in certain neighborhoods, send their kids to certain schools. Once you get in that position, you don't qualify for certain jobs. If you get trapped in that position, how do you get out? You'll be trapped for generations. So I don't want y'all to wait. I don't want you to wait. Let's move now. Let's move now while the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall. We can see the writing. Can somebody look at your neighbor and say, the wall, the writing? Destiny's Child told y'all, the writing is on the wall. Do you know that Beyonce has not one, but two song lyrics, two different songs where the lyrics say, the world is at war. What war? What war in our lifetime? What are we talking about? Could it be that when Kendrick put up there in the Super Bowl at the end of the thing, at the end of his performance last year this time, and you know what it said up there? Game over. Could it be that this version of America is over with? And instead of us getting caught up in other people's issues, let them rant and rave. Let them figure out that listen, we knew this from slavery. We knew that they weren't for us because the whole police thing was invented to catch us. Okay? That's the history of that. But okay, fine. We got some good ones out here. Amazing. But now they just figured out that some people don't care about human life. All right. All right. While they're having that moment, I need us to get some strategy. So if you want to make some money and you want to get your business going, click a link, do something. And I'm on live every day at 2 o'clock, every single day. Thursdays, 6 to 9, every week, and some Saturdays. So join me over here. Let's make the great escape. Until the next one.